Hello, everybody. I'm Rikki Smith. Welcome to Faith on Friday Present. At Faith on Friday Presents, our goal is to drive motivation by closing the door on the comfort zone, by inspiring inspiration, by challenging and looking at what's possible, and by fostering change, by also looking at those unproductive mindsets and absolutely challenging them. And don't forget, while you're here, subscribe to this YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Instagram. Okay, we've all heard it. Imposter syndrome. Many of us suffer with it, and especially in our workplace. We look at why we're doing where we are and who is eventually going to find out we have no idea what we're doing. Well, do you know that it's not necessarily true? Where you are is exactly what you've earned. Today, we're going to talk to somebody who's going to talk to us about imposter syndrome, how to overcome it, and what we need to do now. Everybody, please say hello to Crystal Jones. Hi, Crystal. How are you?
Hi, Ricky. So
Crystal,
happy to be
oh
here.
my gosh, girl, I'm excited that you are here because this topic is something that a lot of people struggle with, but so few people know what to do about it. But before we get into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're located?
So I'm actually in Georgia, and again, I'm Crystal Jones, aka Career Coach CJ. I am founder of the second season, and I am passionate about just helping people through their next level in career or business. And I've learned on my journey that I am my own client. So I understand the challenges in growing professionally, whether at my corporate career or as an entrepreneur, right?
Hmm.
And along my journey, I have had to navigate a lot of challenges when it comes to imposter syndrome. So now I'm just passionate about helping others on their journey as well.
That is so good. You hear a lot about the imposter syndrome right now, especially among women in the workplace as they're getting more and more education, they're getting higher and higher promotions and more pay. And so many of them struggle thinking that someone's eventually going to find out I have no idea what I'm doing. And men as well, but just in a different way. So talk to us a little bit about what is imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome is simply feeling like you're a fraud, even though there's evidence that you're already fully capable, right? So if you're feeling like a fraud, a fake, or a phony, but your career achievements are saying no, then
Mm.
it's really just that inner critic messing with you.
Ugh,
But a lot of high achieving women really let imposter syndrome impede their progress. And
yeah.
so I'm a witness of it.
I think a
Yeah.
lot of folks watching can kind of say the same thing. Many people may not even know what it's called, but that imposter syndrome, like you said, your evidence shows you've had the promotions, you've gotten the education, you've literally done the work, but someplace in there, you're feeling like someone's going to come up behind you and go, "Excuse me, you're in my seat." So, in
Yeah.
thinking about that inner critic, where would you say something like that, those thought processes, where does that come from when you know you've done the work?
It's just one of those things that you're going to have to dig a little deeper into. Like, where's the root of this, right?
Mm.
But self-doubt can really come in at any point in our career. And it's not one of those things that's just going to easily go away.
Yeah.
I don't like to say reframing mindset. I like to say that we need to reprogram. And reprogramming really takes a lot of work. It takes
Mhm.
digging deep. I would also say that it's one of those things that's not going to just go away because the more we expose ourselves to new opportunities and we challenge ourselves to grow, it's going to be something that we face over time. But I would say that it doesn't have to stall progress in the same way as it
That's
might
good.
have earlier in our career.
Yeah, I like that. Doesn't need to stall progress because I know for some people, imposter syndrome can really stop you in your tracks once you get to a specific or a certain level. And it's everywhere, whether in your career, in your education, sometimes even in your family, in your community, in all of the things that where we are. So understanding that it's going to take work. to
Yeah.
kind of root that stuff out, digging deep, doing the work. What does that work look like, Crystal?
Well, there's a few things that you can do. You can talk to someone about it,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
For me, I'm a career coach, but I have a coach.
Yeah.
I don't know everything. And this is really when a lot of this work came to light for me
Mm-hmm.
as to what really stalls my progress. And it I didn't talk to a clinical psychologist or
Mm-hmm.
psychiatrist, but just really talking about what some of my everyday challenges are.
Wow.
What are the things holding me back? Really
Mm-hmm.
bring a lot of epiphanies, a lot of aha moments.
Right.
And so, really finding someone that you can trust to talk to
Hmm.
really goes a long way. So, for me, it was my career coach.
Yeah.
And for you, it might be someone else that might be a trusted partner in your network.
Yeah. I like that in your network. It is important to have a good network because I think
Yeah.
one of the downfalls of anybody that suffers from imposter syndrome is the wrong people in your network.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
how do you build that positive network around you when you suffer with something that can be debilitating for you?
Well, for me, I have a very supportive network, but it really helps to find people that really get you and get your work and get where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
Not everybody is going to get it. So you have really got to sift through your network and talk to people that understand where you are and where you're trying to go. That is a good
Hmm.
starting point.
That's so good. I love that. I'm thinking right now of people who may be watching this and they've heard of imposter syndrome, but they don't know what it looks like for them. Can you give us a little bit about what that may look like in somebody?
Well, I can tell you a few ways in where it's shown up for me, and we'll
Mm,
see if it resonates, okay?
okay.
Self-sabotage, talking myself out of things before I heard the no,
Mm,
okay? So I'm going to just beat you to the punch and I'm going to say no,
wow.
okay, to myself. Overworking. I'm going to prove that I belong no matter what. So I'm going to work harder than anyone else,
Wow.
okay?
Hmm.
Not using my voice. I'm going to
Woo!
stay in the shadows and behind the scenes because I'm not confident that my voice really even matters.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm just going to be quiet,
Hmm.
okay? Not realizing that my voice needs to be heard,
Yeah.
okay?
Wow.
So these are just a few of the ways that it's shown up for me, and it might show up for someone else a little different.
Yeah. You
And
basically
let
gave me all of the things that I struggle with. Every last one. I'm like, oh my gosh, I too struggle from
ding, ding,
imposter
ding.
syndrome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's very common. 70% of professionals, according to research, experience imposter syndrome at some point in their careers.
Yeah.
A lot of high achieving professionals, especially women,
Hmm.
um, have said that they have experienced imposter syndrome along their professional journeys as well.
Yeah, that's
So
so
it's
true.
very common. And
Hmm.
my goal is to just let people know that they're not alone.
Hmm.
Okay. To
Yeah.
share my story that, hey, in 20 years of working in the corporate arena and now
Hmm.
venturing into entrepreneurship, I still have to fight that inner critic. But
Sure.
I'm just in a point now where I'm going to say, I'm afraid, but I'm still going to do this thing.
Yeah, that's so good. I think one of the things you said earlier, it rings so true. Let people know where you're going, what you want to do, because those people can help keep you accountable and in some cases maybe keep that inner critic at bay.
Yes.
Your network is so incredible because I have two coaches. Yeah, I'm that person. Overachieving. Oh my God, working harder. But because I do a lot of things. And so I need
Yes.
difference, from one space to another and going forward. So now we talked earlier, and one of the things you said, there are ways that you can overcome this imposter syndrome. And I know one of the ways you said is talk to somebody. Another way you said is in your network. but there's still work that needs to be done. What can someone look at right now? I don't have the money to pay for somebody to help me through my imposter syndrome. I still got to be at work, and matter of fact, I'm traveling this week and. What is something that somebody in that space, what can they do?
When I talk about reprogramming, sometimes it's just about reminding yourself that you've done the work. You're
Yeah.
fully capable right now. Lean into your skills and your talents and abilities, your strengths. So one of the things that I do to kind of feed into my reprogramming, I
Mm-hmm.
pull up my resume and
Oh,
I just remind myself like, okay, yeah, I
wow.
did do that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know how to do that. Another thing that I'll do when I need to just kind of refresh my memory
Mm-hmm.
on my success and my achievements, is I talk to different people that know me very well. Okay.
Good.
They can tell you what your strengths are.
Sure.
Your parents are going to understand your strengths different than your children, but both of them
Mm-hmm.
are good resources
Mm-hmm.
because they see you through a completely different lens. Your
Yeah.
coworkers are good folks to remind you what your skills and your strengths are when
Mm-hmm.
you forget.
Yeah. Wow.
Your friends, they're going to see you through a different lens as well. And they're going
Mm-hmm.
to be a great reminder. Well, remember when you managed this event?
Right.
Remember when you helped so and so with this resume? Remember when you helped so and so with writing their proposal? People are going to
Mm-hmm.
remember things that were off your radar that you have
Yeah.
not even thought about.
Wow.
Yeah.
That reminds me also too, write your own bio. Write it down. Show what you've done, your accolades, your accomplishments, your awards. Show your promotions. Talk about what you've done. Because, as speakers, we have to send a bio to everybody that wants one. And it's so funny sometimes when people are reading it, you kind of sit there and go, who are they talking about?
It's so hard to, I have the hardest time writing my
Yeah.
bio, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
changes every time I attempt to
Yeah,
because I'm like,
exactly.
maybe I should say that. Maybe I shouldn't. It sounds so boastful. I need to be
No.
humble. It's hard.
That part needing to, and that makes you quiet. That shuts you down. So now, so Crystal, we've talked about this. Tell us a little bit about your business. What's it called and what do you do?
So, again, my business is the second season, which celebrates the next season in your life. And I can tell you a little bit of backstory if you want to understand what it means. When I turned 40, I figured those first 40 years was the first season of my life. And I was really entering this next season. And so the second season really celebrates what I'm doing right now.
Mm,
And I just want to help you on your journey, whatever that next season looks like in career or business.
hmm.
And sometimes you need a little help. Sometimes you
Yeah,
don't know how to articulate your goals. Sometimes you don't know how to roadmap. Sometimes you don't know how to strategize. All you know is that you have the vision to do something a little bit different.
yeah.
And I just coach people on that journey.
Wow, that's amazing. So do you coach men and women, just women only? Who are your clients?
I generally coach mid-career professionals, but I do like to coach early entrepreneurs.
Mm,
And this is the example I give to everyone all the time. Why does an entrepreneur need a coach? Well, if you bake cakes, you might know how to bake cakes really well, but
hmm.
you might not know how to develop a strategy or a plan to execute your vision.
That's
And so
good.
I will be that person to help you
Yeah.
execute your
I
vision.
love it. I would tell
Yeah.
anybody who is looking to start a business, all of you entrepreneurs out there watching, first of all, thank you so much for being here. But here's the thing, if you are starting your business, don't do it by yourself. Find somebody like Crystal Jones because the amount of money that she's going to save you in mistakes that you will otherwise make will set you up years in advance. Don't ask me how I know, just trust me. Crystal, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, finish this conversation, or work with you, where's the best place for them to find you?
Yes, go to thesecondseason.com, and that's the 2ND season. And you can find me on Instagram under at the second season, YouTube at the second season consulting. You can find me on LinkedIn, Crystal Jones.
Okay.
I'll say that I share a lot of encouragement and words of wisdom when it comes to just making good choices around
Mm.
what your next move is going to be.
Yeah, that right there is so incredibly invaluable. Don't worry, everybody. If you didn't get all of her information, everything is going to be in the description below. So make sure to check that out. And don't forget, subscribe to this YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Instagram. There's fun stuff out there all the time. Crystal, my friend, before I let you go, we're going to play a game. Woohoo!
Okay.
This game is super simple. It's called What's on Your Mind? I'm going to
Oh,
give you some sentences and you're just going to finish them for me. It's that simple, girl. Are you ready to
okay.
play?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. Very first question. My perfect day would be blank.
At the beach. That was
Ooh,
easy.
wow. Well, there you go. Thanks for coming. Okay, here's the next one. If I knew then what I know now, I would blank differently.
I would start my business earlier.
I think most of us would have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm having a down day, I reach for blank.
It's chips.
Any chips in particular or all chips in general?
Um, Maybe some tangy barbecue Doritos.
I'm not
I
mad.
know.
I'm not mad about it, girl. That's good stuff.
Yes.
When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I look forward to is
The
blank.
sunshine.
Yeah, you're in Georgia. Yeah.
Yes.
People in Washington State would not have that same answer. I'm just saying.
No.
The very best advice I've ever given was,
Start today.
wow, girl, you're good at this. That's good stuff. And my favorite
Yes.
question at the end, if I
Okay.
could go back and talk to my 13-year-old self, what would I would tell her what?
Don't be afraid.
Okay. Okay. And now here's my last question. What was 13-year-old Crystal doing?
She was on the bus on the way to school, very quiet, very uncertain of her future,
Wow.
but just really wanting to know what her gifts were and how she could show up.
Oh, it sounds like little Crystal did really well for herself. She would be proud
Oh,
of you. Crystal, thank you so much for being with me today. This has been so good.
I loved it. Thank you, Rikki.
Oh. And hey, everybody, thank you all so much for watching because truly without you, this would just be a waste of my time and space. Okay, so I appreciate you. That's it for this week, but don't worry, we'll be back next week with more Faith on Friday Presents.